It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. It's always great to have you in the studio today. We're going to educate you on recycling today. I'm going to get educated on recycling today. Jean Tarosi's in studio today. She's with Sedona Recycles. You are their
Education and Community Outreach Coordinator.
That's exactly what you are, and that's why you're here today, because you're going to educate us. First of all, why don't we just start with what your job is? We can see recyclable items on the counter. We're going to talk about what isn't recyclable. I've had a bunch of questions for you prior to the show, so
right.
we'll try to get through most of that stuff today. But let's start out with just what your job entails for Sedona Recycles.
I'm the educator, so if a school group or a club or anything like that wants to learn about recycling, I can go and give a presentation and a talk for them. And if they want to come by the facility, I can give them a tour, show them what we do, and answer any questions that they have.
Are you busy with that?
Yes, very busy.
Oh, are you? Okay, so people are reaching out to you, and have you come to the schools and talk recycling?
Yes, I have. I haven't done as many as I would like because I just started in November, so I'm kind of new to the business. But I have big plans for next year.
Okay, all right. So you'll be probably do you contact schools and say,
I do.
Hey, okay, all right. So it doesn't they don't have, but we can reach out to you. So
yes,
groups,
absolutely.
Organizations, schools, nursing homes, everybody.
Everybody, realtors associations, give me a call and I'll tell you what goes on in Sedona.
You can call her at 204-1185.
That's it.
204-1185. Okay, so that's in a nutshell. Tell us about Sedona Recycles itself. It's been around for a while.
It has. Since 1989, it started with volunteers, and in 1994, the facility was built. So it's really unique to have a collection facility in a small town like this. So you should come by and see it and have a tour. It's a nonprofit, which means that we put the profits that we do make back into education, which is why I have a job. So that's our number one mission, is education.
Education.
Yeah.
But obviously, it needs to be done.
Yes.
Because as we're talking here, and then my wife and I will have little arguments about what we can and can't recycle. I'll see her throw something and say, I can't throw that in there. And then she'll tell me, I can't throw that in there. And
right.
I'm like, okay, well, maybe we should find out what we can. And you put out a press release, I don't know, a few weeks ago, talking about, you were giving a talk at the Red Rock Ranger Station.
Yes.
And so I thought, well, this would be good. We got to get Jean in here to educate us on what we can and can't recycle. And prior to the show starting, you kind of mentioned that it kind of depends on where you live on what you can and can't recycle.
Yes, it's different in every city. So when people move here, they're very confused. Well, back home, this is what we did, and they have to learn a whole new system.
What's the easiest way to learn that new system, though? I imagine go to your website or
go to our website, sedonarecycles.org. We have everything you need to know on there, what's recyclable, what isn't, and if we don't take it, we'll tell you who can.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why is it that there's some things you can't take?
It's a matter of collecting it and shipping it efficiently. So things like plastic or paper milk cartons that have that little plastic screw top in it, that takes a special facility because it's a mixed material. It's part paper, part plastic. So it can't go into any of those two categories. It's a mix. Oh. So we don't have a facility close enough to us where we can't collect enough of it to make a truckload worth to send it off. So it is recyclable, I think, probably in Phoenix or somewhere, but we just don't have an efficient way to get it there.
Now, what if at home we took those caps off and threw them in one pile and threw the milk carton in
the plastic's through the carton. So, yeah. So it takes, and you can't put that in with a paper because that plastic is going to clog up the machinery for the paper.
Why did we make that milk carton then?
They shouldn't, or...
I'm trying to figure out why we made that milk carton to begin with.
Well, they are recyclable some places, but this is why education is important. So that way when you're in the store, you know, to avoid milk that comes in that kind of carton, you can buy it in one of the plastic jugs instead, and that's totally recyclable.
Do you see a lot of stuff come through Sedona Recycles? Are we pretty good about recycling?
We are, yes. And we did 4,000 tons last year. And
4,000 tons?
Yeah.
4,000 tons.
Yeah.
Okay.
And since we're a small community, and there's also 2 other recyclers, so that's a good number.
Who else recycles?
Verde Earthworks and Taylor Waste.
Okay. So we've got 3 recyclers in the area. That's nice, because you used to be the only one, right? Were you the only one?
That I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that you don't know. Okay. All right. Tell me about the products that come through your door.
A lot of plastic. Plastics have a number on the bottom, 1 through 7. We can take all of those.
Okay.
Some cities only want ones and twos. We take them all. We get
Why?
a lot because they're worth the most money and they're the easiest to recycle.
1s and 2s?
Yes.
Are the best?
Yes. 3 through 7 is not the best product.
What's happening with 3 through 7?
That's our only export. So it's probably only about 3% of Sedona Recycles materials, but that goes overseas because there's just not a market for it in the United States.
What's going to have a 3 to 7 on it?
Things like if you buy salsa in a little plastic tub or hummus or something like that, usually those funny food containers that aren't a bottle.
Okay.
You know, like tubs, butter things, butter containers, stuff like that.
Okay. Why do they number them?
They're different types of plastic. They all have different melting points.
Okay.
So the plastics have different properties.
So we should be looking for 1s and 2s.
Yeah, those are the best. But you could still.
Is it?
Yeah, those are the best
Okay.
and the best recycle. And they stay in the U.S. They stay close to home. The 3 through 7s you're not going to be able to avoid really. I mean, there's so much stuff comes in those.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're still recyclable. So we get lots of plastic. Plastic bags we get and we don't want. The grocery stores all take plastic bags. So Walmart, Bashas', Safeway will take the plastic bags. We don't want them at Sedona Recycles. It's not efficient for us to try to do that, and there's no reason to with other facilities that'll take them.
We're going to go through a list of do's and don'ts on recycling. And
Okay.
now you know plastic bags is definitely one of those things that's a don't. Don't do it.
Right.
And 1s and 2s stay in the U.S.
Yes.
Recycled in the U.S.
Yes.
for U.S. jobs. And
Yeah.
then the products get shipped back out. We consume it. We send that 1 or 2 right back.
Yeah.
3s, 4s, 3 through 7, they're out of here. They're out of the country.
Yeah, not always, but a lot of the time.
A lot of it does go out there. Okay. Glass. You guys take glass?
Yes, we do, and it's a really easily recyclable product, and you can't see it on the radio, but I have a jar of little sandy stuff, so our glass manufacturer sifts out the tiny particles and makes fiberglass out of it, so not only does the whole bottle get recyclable, but even the tiny little pieces do.
So they crush it down to these, like, dime quarter-sized chunks
Yep.
first,
Yeah.
and then this sandy powder is the residue from this crushing?
Yes.
And then they take this and turn it into fiberglass?
Yes.
Okay, this goes into fiberglass. This is in your house in the fiberglass. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So they have a great recovery rate.
Now, I know in years past I've noticed that I'll hear something like, okay, you can put your clear glass in, but don't put your brown glass in.
We separate
What's going on
ours.
there?
The company that we send it to, they like it separated. So we take both. You just have to put it in 2 different bins, and those bins are right next to each other, so it's not hard to do. They have optical sorters at the glass manufacturer, so they can actually separate it themselves there, but we get a better price for it if we keep it separated. So it helps us stay in business.
Eliminate that step for them.
Yes, exactly.
Keeps
Yeah.
you going and keeps
Keeps
them
it more
happy.
efficient.
So why can't you mix the brown and clear glass together? I guess maybe it's a silly question.
When they melt it to make new bottles, you're not going to have any clear left. It's going to be colored.
It's all going to be colored
Yeah.
then. Okay, so maybe that's why at one point in time it was don't put your brown glass in.
Yes, most likely.
Okay. What else do you guys see come through your door?
We get a lot of styrofoam. We're the only recycler in the Verde Valley that takes styrofoam. We only take the expanded kind, though. So if you broke it and it's made up of little tiny beads or pellets, that's what we can take because we can compress it in a densifying machine, and then it forms these styrofoam logs that we can send out to be turned into crown molding and CD cases. However,
Crown molding and CD cases. That is so amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, meat trays and egg cartons are a different type of styrofoam, and they don't mix in our machine, so we can't take those. And we do get a lot of people that throw styrofoam takeout containers and food, things like that.
Okay,
and
Sarah,
we can't take those.
Okay, we're going to come back and talk about the don'ts. Matter of fact, we have to
that's
take
right.
our first break already. Okay, let's do that. Gene Tarosi's in studio today with Sedona Recycles. SedonaRecycles.org is the website. Phone number is 204-1185. Gene will come to your place of business, group meeting, whatever it is, to talk about recycling. So you've got that information. Stick around. Countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund breeding.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Information on hot water heating.
No. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out the words.
World music, playing track now.
No.
Let me try. Our daughter gets confused about which details in a story are important.
Which paper towels are most absorbent?
What?
Here are 5 product reviews.
Why are you not getting me?
See, I told you.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Mom, Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to Countywide. Gene Trosi in studio today from Sedona Recycles, sedonarecycles.org, 204-1185. We're going to get into some of the do's and don'ts, but I want to talk a little bit more about the manufacturers. I've always been under the impression that all these recyclable materials would go to a business that would take and melt them down and turn them into sort of a raw material again. And then those materials would be purchased by somebody who made something with that material. That's not really the case, is it?
That's generally how it works. For example, the glass that we were talking about, there's a company that sorts the colors, breaks it down, and then they ship those broken pieces, the cullet, to another company that actually makes the bottles. So there is usually a two-step process there.
Okay, so there's 3 of you involved. Well, 4 of us. There's me, the consumer. I buy something, I eat it, I drink it, whatever. I put it in the recycles. It comes to you.
Right.
And you guys are sorting it into the places it needs to be. Now, but you've got those great big bins that I've seen. I think you've got some over here at Mingus and over by the elementary school, and people are sorting that stuff already.
Yes, and the reason why we do that is that you get the highest recovery rate that way. So we call it multi-stream recycling. So the more that the customer can separate, the better quality that the materials have, because if you put glass in with cardboard, the glass breaks, glass shards get in the cardboard and it's ruined. So if we have you separate a little bit extra, we have a 98% recovery rate on that. So if you throw everything in one bin, that recovery rate is going to go down to about 80%.
Okay.
So
then you guys pile it up at your place.
Yes.
I mean, how much stuff do you have there? It's got to be phenomenal.
It's really cool. You should come by and check it out. So yeah, we'll get bales and bales of paper and cardboard. We'll have it stacked up in our backyard until we truck it out.
Okay. And then mountains of glass?
Yes, we have 2 big glass piles in the back. They're in concrete walled-off areas, and that gets shipped out every couple weeks. And plastics are in big metal cages, so they're sort of tall, so we can kind of use an efficient use of space. So it's the other thing: the more you separate at the curb, the smaller facility you need.
How many people do you have there to sort all this stuff? Because you guys cover a broad area, all of the Verde Valley, right?
Yes, we have 21 drop-off sites.
Okay.
So we have 20 employees about. 10 of them are part-time.
Okay, and they're all day long going through this stuff.
No, there's a special needs community for adults called Rainbow Acres.
Oh, Rainbow Acres, yeah.
Yeah, so we have workers from there that come and they work 4 hours a day on the sorting line.
Awesome.
And that's who does our sorting.
Okay, okay. And then the company comes to you, or do you ship it to the company that then turns this back into a raw product?
A little of both. Most of it we ship out, but there are for like specialty businesses like electronics and things like that, they'll come pick it up. And
do you take
close by. We do take e-waste, yes. It goes to a company called West Tech in Phoenix, and they're a fantastic company.
Okay, so that should be a note, because we have the e-waste events, ADEQ?
Yes, however, we charge for e-waste. If you're not a member with us, if you are a member, it's free, but if you're not, we have to ask for a small donation because we will lose money on the processing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What is a member?
It's $25 a year for an individual, $50 for a family, or $100 for a business.
Okay.
So it helps keep us running, and then you get the free electronics recycling.
Okay, so do I bring? But I already have curbside recycling. Is that to you?
No, we do not offer curbside. There is an independent curbside.
You're the 21 bin.
Yeah, we have
the 21 bins.
Right.
Okay, all right.
There's one recycler called Recycling for Good that's an independent curbside, and they bring their recyclables to us, but that's the only recycler curbside in the Verde Valley that comes to Sedona Recycles.
Gotcha. All right. Maybe we should probably move on to the don'ts.
Okay.
What you don't take is recycling. Now, we already talked about the plastic shopping bags.
Right.
And I asked you before the show, legislation was passed this year where we're not going to outlaw plastic bags. It can't be done.
Right.
That's a big bug for you. I know you said it was disappointing. So no plastic. You don't take the plastic bags. You take those back to the store that you got them from.
Right.
We've seen those bins.
Right. Yes, yes, and they're everywhere. Safeway, Bashas', Walmart. I mean, there's enough locations where people should find a convenient place to take those. It's better to use a reusable though. You know, get one of those ones that they sell at the checkout.
Right, the reusable bags.
There's one exception to the plastic bag rule. If you shred your paper, it's okay to leave that in the plastic bag because otherwise it's going to blow all over the street. So if you have shredded paper, leave it in the plastic bag and throw it in the paper bin.
I agree.
One exception.
All right, so this is number 1 plastic.
Yes.
I see the number right in the middle of it. It is this would be like a Weight Watchers meal where you throw it in the microwave and then take off the film on top. That film on top, is that recyclable?
No.
No. That's 1 point for me right there. So that is not recyclable, despite the fact it's that plastic.
Right. It might be somewhere. I don't know of anywhere in a nearby area that does it.
And that's probably a good point. I don't know if we mentioned that yet in the show, but is everything recyclable? It just depends on where you live.
Most things are. There's a few exceptions, but yes.
Okay.
Sometimes it depends on if there's a facility nearby and if there's a way to truck it there efficiently.
Okay. You have a styrofoam egg container here.
Right. Which those could be recycled, but we don't have a machine for it. So there's nobody in the Verde Valley that'll do it. However, we do reuse them. We'll collect them and give them to farmers that raise chickens. Okay, all right. And then we have, I don't even know what kind of container to call this. It's kind of got like a waxy outside and then almost like a foil inside. It's called a Tetra Pak, and that's what, chicken broth and soup and things like that come in. So it's 3 layers. There's a plastic layer, a paper layer, and an aluminum layer on the inside. So it takes a special facility to be able to separate those 3 layers.
Do those facilities exist?
They do. They do. There's not one close to us, though, which is why we can't take them.
Where does our stuff go?
Plastics go to California, and as well as paper. A little bit of the plastic goes overseas, like I said, the 337s. Glass and electronics go to Phoenix, and batteries go to Mesa. We take batteries as well. And televisions go to a place called Closed Loop, which I think is in Mesa as well.
Okay, so it's kind of close to us.
It's close, yeah.
There's not enough recycle places, though.
No.
I shouldn't say recycle places, but places that take recycled materials to turn them back into reusable product.
Right. We could use more. We could use more. Yeah.
Okay. Aluminum cans, of course, right?
Oh, yeah, they go to Yavapai Metal.
Okay.
And they get sent to California where they get turned into beer cans for Anheuser-Busch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So aluminum is, of course, copper, brass, all that stuff. But let's say, okay, soup can. Take the lid off the soup can. Is that lid recyclable?
It totally is, but you should tuck it inside the can because it's so small and light, it could very easily get sort of lost in the shuffle.
Okay, so after you dump the contents of the can out, throw it back in the can.
Put the lid in, yeah.
The can is recyclable.
Right.
You guys will take those.
Yeah, and people often ask, do you have to take the paper label off? You don't have to, but it's better if you do. You could take the paper label off and recycle that in the paper bin, but if you don't take it off, it's not going to mess anything up.
Okay. Will you take that off, or does it just get burnt off when they melt it?
It gets burnt off when they melt it.
It gets burnt off,
yeah.
okay. All right. Another question for you. When I empty that soup can into the pot, do I need to rinse it out? The spaghetti jar, the glass spaghetti jar that's got spaghetti residue in it, those kind of things, you know what I'm talking about, where there's food left inside.
Yeah, that's fine if there's a food residue in there. I mean, we don't want it half full because obviously that's going to create a big mess, but you don't have to clean it out. If you use a lot of water to rinse the jar, you're wasting one resource to preserve another one. So recycling is sophisticated enough nowadays to where if there's some food residue in there, it's not going to matter.
I was hoping you were going to say that because I told you before the show I thought it was kind of silly that I would have to rinse these things out and waste the water for it. And we've talked about wasting the water. When it seems to me that we should be able to buy now, if I can watch a movie on my telephone, we ought to be able to crush down all this glass and plastic, heat it, and then get the impurities out, and then send the pure product on down.
And we're getting there. Back in the day, you used to have to peel all the tape off of cardboard boxes, and you don't have to do that now.
Gosh, I remember that too. Now, cardboard boxes, you take cardboard boxes?
Yeah.
Would you rather them be fully open and...
No, flatten them, because that way we can fit more in the bin.
Right,
so if you leave them all open, our trucks have to come more often to empty that bin, so it's more efficient if you flatten them down.
Let's take another break. Gene Tarosi in studio today from Sedona Recycles, sedonarecycles.org. Stick around, countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button to seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes.
But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all, we approach re-employment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Donate to Goodwill, where your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community.
This new dad is picturing a tree house in the sky, but he's ignoring the instructions. Good luck, big guy. His kids know that he's building without a clue. Never been so good with nails and glue. Now we're trapped inside a box. I hope mom knows what to do. Mom! See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple minutes left of the program. I want to put Gene on the spot here and give me kind of what are some of the worst things that we do as recyclers that just kind of, it's like, oh, here it is again. This stuff keeps coming through our door.
Not reading the signs.
Okay.
So we have a big styrofoam bin at the center, and it says no meat trays, no packing peanuts, and people put those things in anyway.
Packing peanuts.
So, but we do take packing peanuts for reuse. We have a reuse section in our lobby, like bubble wrap and packing peanuts. We can't recycle them, but somebody's happy to have those when they're moving.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, bring them in the lobby or put them in a bag.
Okay, so bag the peanuts.
Yeah.
I know we've got a dumpster behind work, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody throws stuff in there, and those peanuts get everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're not recyclable; it's that Sedona Recycles doesn't recycle those.
Right.
Okay.
They might be recyclable
Somewhere in the country
yeah,
probably
exactly.
does recycle the peanuts. We're just not there yet.
Right. We have
So
to have
do you
an
see us
outlet.
getting there? Our technology continuing on down the road locally?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's more and more little businesses popping up that want to take these materials. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we're looking for them all the time.
You know, we need more, obviously. You mentioned that during the show and before the show, that we just don't have enough companies that take these
Right.
recyclable materials and then break them back down again.
Yeah, and there's a special company called TerraCycle, so we can take Brita water filters, pure water filters, wine corks. There's small specialty items that we can take through that company.
Gosh, before I throw something away, I should probably call you guys and
Yeah,
say, hey, is this
cool.
something that can be recycled?
That's what we're there for.
Most everything can be recycled, is that true?
Yeah, lots of stuff. Yeah, you'd be surprised. 70% of what people throw away is recyclable.
I think I remember as a kid taking the trash out every other day.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think I take the trash out of my house once a week, but the recycle goes out at least a couple times a week.
Which is great. There's four jobs to every one in recycling as compared to the trash business. And as you get farther down in the manufacturing line, there's 26 jobs to every one in the recycling business. It's
Are you
great for
surprised
the
that everything
economy.
is not mandatory recycled already?
I am surprised it should be. And there's a lot of cities that are doing it. There's a city in Georgia that's the first thing you see on their city webpage is we're the first city in Georgia to make recycling mandatory. They're very proud of that.
Okay, all right. I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
And Gene will come and talk to your group or organization about recycling. SedonaRecycles.org for more information. 204-1185 is the phone number. That's today's Countywide. We'll talk to you again next time.